Close your eyes and go back to 1997. You're pulling into a McDonald's parking lot. You see it from a mile away. That red mansard roof cutting through the sky like a beacon. The golden arches practically glowing. Your parents park, and the second you walk through those doors, you're hit with it. That smell. Fries and grease and something vaguely chemical that you'd recognize anywhere. The floor is sticky. The tables have those weird fixed seats that spin. Primary colors are attacking you from every direction. Red, yellow, blue. The walls are covered in Ronald McDonald and Grimace and the Hamburglar. There's a birthday party happening in the corner. Some kid is crying because they didn't get the toy they wanted in their Happy Meal. And there, in the back, is the Holy Grail, the PlayPlace, that massive plastic structure with tubes you'd crawl through, the ball pit that definitely hasn't been cleaned in 6 months. You'd lose a sock in there and never see it again. If you're really lucky, there's an N64 kiosk. Some kid is hogging it, playing Mario Kart. You're waiting your turn. The controller is sticky. The joystick barely works. It's perfect. Now come back to 2025. You walk into a McDonald's today, and you might as well be walking into a dentist's office. Grey walls. Fake wood panels that are trying so hard to look rustic. Edison bulbs hanging from the ceiling like we're in a Brooklyn coffee shop. The floor isn't sticky anymore. It's clean. Too clean. The seats are metal. They're cold. They're designed at an angle that makes it impossible to get comfortable. You're not supposed to stay long. There's no play place. There's no chaos. There's barely any noise. People are just staring at their phones, picking up their mobile orders, eating silently, leaving. It feels like a waiting room. It feels like a place where joy goes to die. They didn't renovate. They didn't upgrade. They performed an exorcism. They banished the soul and left behind a corporate shell. And here's the thing. McDonald's isn't alone. Every brand you grew up with has done this. They've all become the same grey, minimalist, soulless blob. We traded a chaotic paradise for a clean prison. And we're supposed to believe this is progress. If you want to understand the hidden architecture of your life and how everything you touch has been designed to extract value from you, hit that subscribe button. Because once you see this pattern, you can't unsee it. Let's talk about logos. Because this is where the shift started, and most people didn't even notice it happening. Think back to the 2000s for a second. Logos were glossy, they had gradients, they had shine, there were water droplets and reflections and depth. Everything looked wet. They call it Frutiger Aero. It was the aesthetic of Windows Vista, of the iPod, of optimism about the future. Logos had personality. They had texture. Now look at logos today. Flat, simple, no depth, no detail, just shapes and solid colors. Pringles guy. He used to have a detailed face. Hair, eyebrows, shading. Now he's just a curved line with a mustache. He looks like he was drawn by someone who had 30 seconds and zero budget. Warner Bros. That shield used to be 3-dimensional. It had metallic shine. It had weight. Now it's flat. It looks like a sticker. Petco? They got rid of the dog and cat in their logo entirely. Just text now. And it's not just consumer brands. Look at car logos. Volkswagen flattened their logo. Nissan flattened theirs. BMW is talking about simplifying. Every single one is removing depth, removing detail, removing anything that might be considered decoration. They'll tell you this is about timelessness, about elegance, about modern design principles. But here's the truth. This is about scalability. In the year 2000, your logo lived on a billboard, on a TV screen, on the side of a building. It had space. It could be complex. People could see the details. Then the iPhone dropped in 2007, and suddenly your logo had to work on a screen the size of a credit card. It had to be legible as an app icon. It had to load fast on slow internet connections. It had to work on a smartwatch, on a banner ad, on a favicon. Detail became a problem. Gradients didn't scale down well. Textures looked muddy on small screens. Complexity was the enemy. So they simplified. They flattened. They removed anything that wasn't absolutely essential, and once everyone started doing it, it became the standard. Now a detailed logo looks dated, old-fashioned, cluttered. We didn't choose flat design because it's beautiful. We chose it because our devices demanded it, the technology shaped the aesthetic, and now everything looks like it was designed by the same algorithm. Detail died so your logo could fit on a smartwatch. But McDonald's didn't just flatten their logo, they changed everything, the entire experience, the whole philosophy. And that wasn't about phones, that was about the third place. There's a concept in sociology called the third place. It's not your home, it's not your work, it's the place in between, the place you go to just exist, to hang out, to be around other people without any specific agenda. For decades, McDonald's was a third place. It was chaotic and loud, sure, but it was also where people gathered, where teenagers hung out after school, where parents brought kids to burn energy, where someone could sit with a coffee for 2 hours and nobody cared. Then Starbucks came along and monetized the third place better than anyone had ever done before. Starbucks didn't sell coffee. They sold an aesthetic, a vibe. Comfortable chairs, warm lighting, wood tables, neutral tones, jazz music playing softly, free Wi-Fi. It was a place where adults wanted to be, where you could work on your laptop or read a book or just sit and feel like you were part of something. And people paid $5 for a coffee to access that space. McDonald's looked at Starbucks and got jealous. They saw adults spending money on atmosphere. They saw people lingering, but in a profitable way, and they realized they'd built their entire brand around kids and families, and that limited their ceiling. So they decided to rebrand. They brought in the fake wood, the grey walls, the Edison bulbs, the uncomfortable modern furniture. They wanted to say, we're not just for kids anymore, we're sophisticated. We're a place where adults can hang out. But here's the problem. McDonald's didn't actually want you to hang out. They wanted your money, fast. Starbucks makes money when you stay. Their entire business model is built on selling you a $5 coffee and letting you sit for 3 hours. They want you there. You're not taking up a table, you're creating atmosphere. McDonald's makes money on volume, on speed, on flipping tables. The longer you sit, the less money they make. So they kept the Starbucks aesthetic but added something else. Hostel architecture. The seats are metal. They're hard. They're angled wrong. The lighting is bright enough to keep you awake, but harsh enough to make you uncomfortable. The music is just loud enough to be annoying. The temperature is always slightly off. Everything about the space is designed to make you leave. And the PlayPlaces? Those had to go. Not just because they were childish, because they were a liability. Insurance costs on PlayPlaces are enormous. Kids get hurt, parents sue, and worse, families would camp out for hours while kids played. That's a table that's not turning over. That's lost revenue. The new McDonald's isn't a third place. It's a transaction hub. Eat, pay, leave. They didn't grow up. They just got more efficient at extracting value from you. But this goes so far beyond McDonald's. This is everywhere now. And it has a name. Airspace. Walk into a coffee shop in Brooklyn. Now walk into a coffee shop in Tokyo, in Berlin, in Melbourne. They look identical. Exposed brick, industrial lighting, concrete floors, succulents in geometric planters, reclaimed wood tables, metal chairs, the menu written in that same sans serif font on a chalkboard, a single piece of abstract art on the wall. This is airspace. Every city, every neighborhood, every coffee shop, every hotel lobby looks the same. The aesthetic has been flattened, globalized, optimized, and it happened because of Instagram. Businesses realized that if their space looked good in photos, people would come. They'd take pictures. They'd post them. Free advertising. So everyone copied the same aesthetic. The one that photographs well, the one that signals taste and sophistication and disposable income. Industrial chic became the default, because it works everywhere, because it's safe, because it doesn't offend anyone, but it also doesn't mean anything. You could be in Portland or Prague and you'd have no idea. The sense of place is gone. Everything is interchangeable, and it's not just businesses. This infected our homes, the sad beige movement. You've seen it. Modern nurseries where everything is beige, cream, taupe, grey. The toys are wooden and muted. No primary colors, no plastic, no chaos. Parents will tell you it's about reducing overstimulation, creating a calming environment, teaching good taste early. But here's what it really is. It's about aesthetics over childhood. It's about making your kids' room look good on Instagram. It's about control. Color is chaos. Color is unpredictable. Color is hard to photograph in a cohesive way. So we've removed it. We've decided that beige is sophisticated and red is tacky. And then there's real estate. This is where it gets economic. Walk through any newly flipped house. Gray floors, white walls. Maybe a gray accent wall if they're feeling bold. Stainless steel appliances, quartz countertops, nothing with personality, nothing with risk. This is the flipper aesthetic. And it exists for one reason. Resale value. Gray and white are safe. They appeal to the widest possible audience. They don't offend anyone. They don't make anyone feel anything. But they also don't scare anyone away. If you paint your house yellow or put in colorful tile or do anything with personality, you've limited your buyer pool. You've taken a risk. And risk is bad for profit. So everything is gray. Everything is safe. Everything looks like it came from the same HGTV show. We've gamified our homes, optimized them for resale before we've even lived in them. We don't decorate for ourselves anymore. We decorate for the future buyer we've never met. And the result is a world without personality, without color, without soul. But why gray specifically? Why did this color become the default for everything from McDonald's to our living rooms? Because gray is the color of wealth, of maturity, of safety. There's a psychology to this. Bright colors signal energy, chaos, emotion. They're bold. They demand attention. They make people feel things. And for decades, that's what brands wanted. They wanted to be loud, to stand out, to be memorable. But somewhere in the last 20 years, the cultural script flipped. Color became associated with cheap, with lower class, with bad taste. Think about it. What do you picture when you think of a space with lots of bright colors? A dollar store, a fast food restaurant, a kids' play area. Now, what do you picture with gray and white? A luxury condo, a high-end restaurant, an Apple store, gray signals control, refinement, minimalism. It says, I'm too sophisticated for chaos. I don't need to shout. I'm secure. This is the aesthetic of gentrification. And it's not just about neighborhoods anymore. It's about our entire visual culture. We've decided that emotion is unsophisticated, that joy is childish, that color is something you grow out of. And corporations weaponized this. They realized that if they could make their spaces look expensive, people would pay more, even if nothing about the product changed. McDonald's coffee costs the same, but when you drink it in a gray box with fake wood, it feels more premium. Your brain makes that association automatically. The environment shapes your perception of value. Always has, always will. So they painted everything gray. They stripped away the joy, and they charged you the same price for a worse experience. So here's where we ended up. We wanted to grow up. We wanted spaces that felt adult. We wanted brands that took us seriously, and they gave us exactly what we asked for. But in the process, something died. The chaos, the personality, the color, the soul of public spaces. The McDonald's of 1997 was overstimulating. It was loud and sticky and chaotic. It was designed to drive parents insane and make kids ecstatic. But it was also joyful. It was memorable. It was a place that felt like something. The McDonald's of today is efficient, It's clean, it's optimized for maximum profit and minimum liability, and it feels like nothing. We gained maturity, we lost magic, and maybe that's just what growing up is. Maybe the world is supposed to get quieter and safer and more boring as you age, or maybe we've just collectively convinced ourselves that depression is sophistication. Look around. Every brand, every space, every logo has become the same shade of gray. Every coffee shop looks like every other coffee shop. Every apartment looks like every other apartment. Every city is starting to look like every other city. We're told this is progress, this is good design, this is maturity. But I can't help but wonder, when did we decide that joy was childish? When did we agree that color was the enemy? When did we decide that everything had to be optimized and efficient and safe? And more importantly, do we even remember what we lost? The red roofs are gone, the PlayPlaces are gone, the sticky floors and the chaos and the N64 kiosks are gone. We're left with a world that looks like a corporate spreadsheet came to life, like an algorithm designed it, like every decision was made by focus groups and market research and resale value calculations. Nothing is for us anymore. Everything is for the next buyer, the next customer, the next transaction. We traded soul for scale. We traded memory for efficiency. We traded a chaotic paradise for a clean prison. And we're supposed to smile and say thank you. So the next time you walk into a grey box with fake wood and Edison bulbs and uncomfortable metal chairs, ask yourself something. Is this what you really wanted? Or is this just what they gave you? Because somewhere along the way we forgot that the world is allowed to be joyful, that spaces are allowed to have personality, that color isn't a crime, and maybe, just maybe, we can start remembering before everything becomes the same shade of nothing.